Alright, I have advised some people recently to use occluders in their large maps. So, even though this is an advanced topic, advanced in the sense that you won't need this unless you are building a truly gargantuan Lingo map and you're experiencing drop frames in game, is occluders. So, I'm just going to add a little note here to hold all my occluders, and I'll just call it that. And then I'm going to go down and, I didn't mean to save it there, but that works. Occluder is what I want to add. Now here, I can add either a polygon or a sphere. You will not usually be using spheres in this because we don't usually build that kind of geometry. The mountains that are in Duolingo or Linduango or whatever which one that is, those actually use spherical occluders because they're meant to take up a volume, not just be a flat plane. We're going to use a polygon for most things. So what this little purple sheet does is it will not render anything that you see through it. So you can see right now it's not seeing the panels. Now you can see also if you have a grid map, it does nothing to the grid map because the entire thing has to be included and the grid map is never counted as entirely occluded. But if you are meshifying your grid maps for export or with the Boxifier or whatever, then you can use these. So the way you would do this is you embed them in the walls so that, you shouldn't be able to see through these walls. So anything that I get here, anything that's caught by this occluder is something I shouldn't be able to see anyways. I can have them just out in the open. They function just fine. The problem is that they will hide things that you probably don't want them to hide. Now 3.5.2 Godot has a bit of a problem where every time I move a handle, it makes all the handles disappear. So you either have to downgrade to 3.5 to 1 to work with occluders effectively, or you have to, work with them like this. So now I can show you, this is always occurring on a flat plane. So now I've just made a larger occluder, and I'm going to duplicate this and use it over here because I want to show the second part of it. So, okay, this is not quite the same area. Now you might notice, right now this occluder is going to be occluding anything that I see through the door, and I need to see that. So I'm going to make unique, and I'm going to make a hole, which is generally occluders which use a single hole are going to be better than occluders which use multiple holes and multiple an occluder with a single hole is going to be better than a number of occluders without a hole, but covering this entire area. So that would be a polygon covering the top here and two polygons covering the sides here. And the reason for that is occluders only block anything that is fully covered by the occluder. So the larger the occluder, the more things it can exclude. So if I had this as three separate occluders, and this was a joined bit, and there was something behind here, say there's an entire big scene in the different distance, like the entirety of John Jolingo, if it was crossing these two borders here, the borders between it, it wouldn't hide it, it wouldn't occlude it, but it would, it will with this effect. So I'll show you what this looks like now. This looks like an occluder with a little blue cutout, and anything you can see through the blue cutout is not occluded by the occluder, which, it's what we want. So a single hole and a single polygon is about optimal. Once you start having two holes, the calculations and occluding becomes better if you just work with multiple occluders. So there's some cases where you can't, if you have a very tall tower with lots of doors on each side, you're not going to have very good occlusion coming from that tower, and it might affect your frame rate in that effect. So now, when do I want to use this? I want to use this when I have a decently powerful machine that usually does not struggle with Lingo level 1. And when I look around, when I'm just whip myself around in either in the editor or in play, either of which indicates you have a bit of a problem, I get lag and dropped frames, and I'm not really able to see what I'm doing anymore. Or it gets motion sickness central. So because occluders reduce the amount of geometry that needs to be drawn on scene, they drastically cut down on that. Now I am going to just make a separate recording where I land in one part of the map I'm working on. It's going to be a very boring part, and I'll kind of try to show what that looks like. Alright, so this is a part of my level. I have removed everything of interest right now, all the panels and stuff, so I can just show you. So right now, I'm looking around, it's nice and smooth. If it looks like it's in 30 FPS, that's because what OBS is recording at. but it's at a proper 60 FPS, and it's looking good, and I don't see any lag. If I look over behind me, I don't have any occluders placed there right now. And now you can probably see the kind of glitching that I'm seeing. Like, if I try to wave this around, it just becomes a very unholy mess, as it's only rendering a few frames. If I do that over here, you know, it's much smoother. I'm still moving pretty fast, but it's not jerking all over the place in an unholy abomination. So that gives you some idea of what Occluders can do for you. This is nice, smooth gameplay. This gameplay feels like someone is trying to shove it through a cardboard tube. So that's essentially what it does. The reason why my map does this is because I have... It currently occupies a 700 by 700 area. So it is big boy. It is big boy. And that's your basic introduction to Occluders.